In this presentation, we will begin discussing the materials or elements of music. To understand how music creates its many effects, we must first consider the various elements that work together to make up the musical experience. The six basic elements or materials of music are melody, musical time or rhythm, harmony, texture, form, and musical expression. We will start by looking at melody. A melody is a succession of single tones or pitches. In the same way a sentence is perceived as a flowing idea and not just a random list of words, a melody may portray a unified idea. Melodies speak to the listener. There are a variety of approaches used for organizing pitches into meaningful melodies, modes, scales, and tone rows, to name a few. Melodies in contrasting styles can be described by such characteristics as contour, range, and motion. Often melodies are organized into phrases, which are marked by punctuations called cadences. The contour of a melody contributes largely to the emotional effect. Ascending melodies can portray soaring, uplifting feelings, while melodies with a wave-like contour may be contemplative or relaxing. The arch is a frequent contour where the melody gradually ascends to a climatic high note and then descends, often symmetrically, to the end of the phrase, creating a very satisfying balance. Descending melodies produce the effect of decreasing energy and may be used for a smooth landing. The range of a melody is the span between lowest and highest note. It is an important determining factor in mood as well as performance considerations. Melodies with narrow range may be more serene or smooth, and are certainly easier to perform for amateur musicians. Often, folk melodies and songs that are intended for untrained singers are designed with a narrow range. Religious and civic tunes, such as America, are good examples where a narrow range would work well. Melodies that are medium in range offer more variety with their increased palette of pitches and often outline chords, increasing the energy level and sophistication. Melodies with a wide range can be exciting, impressive, and may require virtuosic performance ability for instrumentalists and singers. Conjunct movement describes melodies that move in steps from pitch to nearby pitch. An example of conjunct movement is heard in Beethoven's Ode to Joy. This does not necessarily mean that the melody has a small range, for there may be many steps or small intervals combined to make a dramatic range. Still, conjunct movement does create overall a smooth effect. Disjunct movement is a melodic motion by large disjointed intervals or leaps, and may be very dramatic and exciting as a result of the energy it generates. The Star-Spangled Banner is a good example of disjunct melody. Much of the very spectacular and innovative music of the 20th century employs disjunct movement. Melodies are typically meaningful. They speak from the composer or performer to the listener. A crucial organizing force in melody is the phrase, which functions much like a sentence in verbal communication. A phrase has a beginning, middle, and end marked by punctuation called a cadence. There are many ways in which composers design phrases and cadences from simple to complex, some plainly recognized, some mysterious or sophisticated, all contributing strongly to the mood and style of the music. When lyrics are present, there is a natural alignment of melodic phrase and rhyme scheme. For example, in Amazing Grace by John Newton, shown here. This is simply an A-B-A-B rhyme scheme as identified by the last syllable in each line. This pattern of organization suggests rich musical possibilities. While melodies have many characteristics that give each line a unique personality, there is another compositional technique that can increase the expression of the composer further, the use of countermelody. Countermelody is an added melody that can be secondary in importance to a main melody, or it can be of equal importance to another melody. The technique of adding countermelody in a composition increases the variety that can be achieved. The listening provided here by Prokofiev has an example of countermelody. Now let's examine the concept of musical time. Rhythm is a fascinating aspect of music. It is the length or duration of individual notes. This movement of music in time propels music forward, but it may do so in varying degrees, ranging from subtle flow to swirling torrent, as in Bizet's Toreador song. Basic components of rhythm include length of individual notes, beats, and accents, also meters and syncopations. The beat is the regular pulsation of music, what you would tap your feet to within the music. An accent is when a beat is stronger, and the meter is a pattern of accented and unaccented beats. Metrical patterns are established by regularly recurring patterns of beats. The downbeat is the first accented beat in each pattern. Here is an example of a musical time with 3 beats per measure. Notice the downbeat indicated by the arrow. To show these units of organization on paper or computer screen, we use measure lines, vertical lines that mark off measures. Musical compositions that present regularly recurring patterns of beats can be classified as duple, triple, or quadruple meter. As the labels imply, duple meter consists of 2 beats per measure, triple meter 3 beats per measure, and quadruple meter 4 beats per measure. Naturally, there exist other possibilities for rhythmic organization, but these categories provide a good starting place for learning how to listen deeply to the temporal or time aspect of music. An example of duple meter is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. An example of triple meter is My Country 'Tis of Thee, and an example of quadruple meter would be the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Simple meter is a category of rhythm which has beats divisible into 2 even units. This contrasts with compound meter, whose beat divides instead into 3 even units. We speak of duple, triple, and quadruple meter when describing specific rhythms. Meters can be defined as organized groups of beats. Which aspects of sound help you identify meter? Listen for accents, rest, phrases, cadences, instrumentation, etc. Compound meter is the rhythm category that contrasts with simple meter. It is in the division of the beat where simple and compound differ. Simple meters have 2 divisions per beat, while compound meters have 3 divisions per beat. A frequently occurring compound meter is 6/8 time, known as a sextuple meter, presenting a strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak beat pattern. An example of compound meter using 6/8 would be Greensleeves. Syncopation is a deliberate disruption of regular patterns where the accent is shifted to a weak beat or to a place in between beats, known as an offbeat. This technique was prominent, for example, in African American dance rhythms, which contributed to the development of jazz. Interesting rhythms can be built by adding up irregular beat groupings to create a larger pattern. For example, a 10-beat rhythm can be constructed from 2 beats plus 3 beats, added to 3 beats plus 2 beats. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The total is 10. Another example, this from Music of India, is a 14-beat pattern built from smaller groups. 2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. These are examples of additive meter. Non-metric music, music without a strong sense of beat or meter, is demonstrated by excerpts from the Middle Ages in the form of plain chant or Gregorian chant. Modern examples of non-metric music include choral works by Arvo Part and electronic ambient works by Harold Budd and Brian Eno. The last element we will explore in this presentation is texture. Texture refers to the way melodic lines are combined with harmony in music. The simplest texture is monophony, which is a single melodic line without accompaniment. Until about 1,000 years ago, all known Western music sources were monophonic. Listen to the Gregorian chant example shown here. Homophony is a texture that is commonly found in both traditional and popular styles of music. Homophony has a single melodic line that naturally draws your attention. All of the other parts provide accompaniment or simply a background of harmony. Most popular music is homophonic, having a melody with chords in the background. Listen to the Eagles' Seven Bridges Road. Sometimes the texture changes from one type to another within a single work. For instance, a piece might start off with a monophonic texture and change to a homophonic one. Heterophony is a texture often found in folk music, jazz, gospel, and music outside of the Western culture when improvisation occurs in the performance. In heterophony, two or more melodic lines or voices that occur simultaneously are an elaboration of the same melody. Polyphony literally means many voice texture. In polyphony, two or more melodic lines of equal interest are combined. Two examples of polyphony are non-imitative and imitative. Non-imitative polyphony is the combination of two or more distinctly different melodic lines simultaneously. In imitative polyphony, a melodic idea is presented in one voice, then restated in the others in succession. During the restatement, the original voice continues with new material. Listen to the two examples of polyphony shown on the slide. When the imitation is strict and lasts for an entire work, this is called a canon. One common type of canon is a round. In a round, each voice enters in succession with the same melody, which may then be repeated endlessly. Well-known examples of rounds are Row, Row, Row Your Boat and Frere Jacques, Are You Sleeping? The next presentation will cover the remaining three materials or elements of music. This concludes this presentation. Please proceed to the Materials of Music, Elements of Music, Part 2 presentation.